Happy Savage Saturday, keepers of the cash. Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy here. And today, guys, and probably for the next couple episodes, we're going to be dealing with a character that you may not be too familiar with. All right, and I am talking about a character named Salimba. All right, a great little 3 stories, 4 if you count the prose one, from Blackthorn Publishing, from Absolute, not Absolute, I forgot what they're called, but we will take a look at them so you will know. But this is a character that I came across first because I liked the old Blackthorn Publishing books and comics. And I like their Cull 3D, their Red Sonja 3D, their Solomon Kane 3D. They had a couple other 3Ds which I got and have really enjoyed. But I also saw Salimba 3D and I'm like, ooh, what's that? And it was something I really wanted to get. And then I found out that there was a graphic novel, and then another graphic novel with an exclusive story to it. And then I went down the rabbit hole of collecting the Salimba, which isn't a big rabbit hole to go down, but it certainly is a fun one. So first up, we had the Salimba books, right? The 3D publications that came out with great covers. And I'm going to, after I show you these, I'm going to show a big long strip because the front and back covers all connected for one long panoramic picture. And the reason for that was when retailers put them on the shelves, the books ran and made this big picture to draw attention and get everyone to buy them. But as you can see, beautiful art already, okay? Just absolutely beautiful Paul Chadwick art. And then, of course, and I don't know how many there's actually got the graphic novel treatment. This might be the only one to my knowledge. If you know differently, please let me know. But I've never seen any other reprints of Blackthorn Publishing or collected volumes. So this is Salimba, the deluxe graphic novel. You see the colors are a little bit faded on this. Now, the cover's fine, but the remaster, whatever they did, the reprint of it, they faded the colors on it. And I don't like the faded colors. But as chance would have it, it has the best interior. Like the inking, everything's nice and dark in here, and it looks beautiful. So this is the copy we're going to tell the story with on the inside. These I didn't open up and show you because they're in 3D, so it'll just look like a mess up there. And then lastly, we had the About Comics graphic novel reprint. All right, and the cool thing about this one is Stephen Perry wrote an additional Salimba story called Baby, and it's in here in prose form with some limited pictures here and there, which are beautiful. So I went ahead and got this. Again, this cover is way better than this cover. You can see the colors are just better. They pop more. They're much more beautiful, much richer. And I just like it better. But the inside of this one, although great, the pictures in here are a little lighter, where they're a little darker in there, and I think it looks better. So they each have their pluses, their minuses. The first ones with the 3D are fun for what they are, because the 3D in them is really good, and the characters really pop off the page in the settings and the action. But it's good if your eyes are wonky that day to just be able to settle down with a good old black and white book and enjoy the story. And you know, on this channel, we are a big fan of stories in black and white. We do a lot of Savage Sword of Conan here, and a lot of other stories that are in black and white. Sometimes it's a better medium to tell a story in because of what it portrays. As a side note, I found these because I had some 3D comics. On eBay, they sell, someone sells, I don't remember who, but you can get 3D glasses, hard plastic, so you don't have to put up with any of those paper ones you have. And they're actually very comfortable. They fit on nicely, and you can read your 3D comics. And it helps to have a lot of light when you're looking at the 3D, but you can read them a lot easier than having these little pieces of plastic that are cutting your ears all the time. I mean, cardboard. These are great, and I highly recommend them. $5, they're super cheap, so you're not breaking the bank to get them either. And you got a really good set of 3D glasses. Now, without further ado, we've had a lot of introduction. So this is a character created by Steve Perry and Paul Chadwick. And we're going to get into the first story. We're only going to do the first story today. There are 3 stories. There's 2 shorter ones, which are the bookends, and the middle one is a longer one, which passes through this book, number 1, and ties it to number 2. So you had to pick up the second copy, of course, to finish the story that you started. Really smart, but really good story. And the darkest of the 3 stories. Well, yeah, it's pretty dark. It's a good story. And it deals a lot more with the immortality of the Salimba character. But let's get into the first story, which we're going to do today. Next week, we'll do the middle story, the bigger one. And then in the 3rd week, we will wrap this Salimba story marathon up with the 3rd and final comic book story. We won't do the prose story. It's a prose one. I have to read it yet, and if it's not too big page-wise, maybe I'll put it up here, just the pages, so those who want to read it can. But let me know what you think after this, and we're going to get right into it now. So, Salimba by Paul Chadwick and Steve Perry. Now, the story is by Steve Perry. The pencils are by Paul Chadwick. We have inks by Tom Palmer and letters by Bill Spicer. All right, and we're going to get right to it. And a short story, but a fun one. And it says, Salimba. Remember nothing but her name. Each day Salimba awakes, the world begins over again. The events of yesterday blur with the day before that, and the day before that, and it all becomes such a jumble in her head that she'd rather not think about it. She is Salimba, now is her time. Sometimes she's a kitten, sometimes she feels as old as the ruins of this nameless city she lords, and sometimes she's just bored. Her people bore her. Endless leisure bores her. It's been going on more years than memory can recall, but today her boredom becomes moot, as paradise is punctuated by adventure. And then you have one of her citizens saying, a ship in the cove. And then it says, and her passion and womanhood roar away, captured by the thrumming of the pirate's heart. Now, what's cool about this character is it really captures the adventurous and romantic spirits of time past, right? Especially with the writing, which feels like a very antiquated form of storytelling, but a really good form of storytelling. It's just told in that dialect, so where there's a romanticism about the adventure. All right, and we'll show the first page, even though I've had it running up here most likely. But as you can see, the art is gorgeous. The Salimba character is just a gorgeous character. All right, then we have the pirates pulling up on shore. And you have some crewmates on the ship saying, Captain Bump's gone bunkers, trying to bury the heart again. Persistent old Bildrat, ain't he? And then you have the captain on the small boat going to shore, the dinghy. He says, Travis, my boy, this is it. I feel it in me bones. The jungle goddess is here somewhere, the pure of heart that will deliver us from the curse. The legends mention a gleaming city. It's here somewhere. 4 times I've tried to rid us of this plague, and I'll keep on, so long as a piece of me still twitching. So a piece of me, makes you wonder the choosing of his words. And in the trees above, Salimba's up there watching them. It says above them. And now we have the view of her looking down on them. And she sees the captain. She sees this blonde-haired, white-skinned dude, which is new to her, this pirate dude. And she's instantly smitten with someone that looks so different from what she's used to. And it says, I'll find this jungle goddess and make her free us all. This time I win. This time the cursed heart stays buried. And now it's setting up the intrigue of what this heart is and what their curse is. And Salimba's looking down. We have a great side profile of her face. And it says her breath quickens as strange desires wash her body. The sight of this sudden stranger kindling parts deep within her history. And you see her straightening up in the trees. And it says, parts so long dormant, she had forgotten about him. And it shows the suggestion of a hand on her thigh. And it says, come along, mates. No time to waste. And she's up in the trees above them with a great long shot. And it says, he's beautiful. We'll give you a little shot of that. So we got some pirates that are on her island looking to end a curse that is set upon them. Seems like pirates always have their curses. You think they'd learn after a while, but they don't. They don't learn. All right, next. As Selim was watching them, the captain's still talking. For sleeping beasts wake, and the 6 feet of sand won't stop the heart once it's out. So there's something that they're worried about. And Selima's got a rope, kind of like a lasso. And as they're going by, the blonde-haired pirate is lagging behind the others, and she snares him by the throat and pulls him aside. And she doesn't harm him, but he's laying there, and he doesn't feel threatened by her. And he's captivated by her. And she says, I didn't know men could look like you. Who are you? And he says, who are you? Are you the goddess of the Gleaming City? She's like, I suppose it gleamed once, a long time ago. I seem to remember it. Why do you ask? She goes, do I look like a goddess? And he kind of looks down, and you can see there's something on his mind. She's like, what's wrong? Am I not pleasing you? He goes, it's maddening. I desire you, yet feel nothing. I exist only for the pirate's heart, and only because of its curse. It's let no one save the captain feel, nor will it release us. And she says, tell me of this curse. And so he does. He's like, long ago we looted a sorcerer's bark of its single cargo, a large chest hidden in the village. Would that we let it sink, like its owner, to the bottom of the sea, for it was the pirate's heart. Again, we keep hearing this pirate's heart. What's this all about? And he says, we are doomed to an eternity in the high seas, forever on the run, and fight simply to satisfy the heart's cravings. 150 years it has kept us bound to payments of blood and flesh. The heart wraps itself in the shape of a terrible beast, and thus animated, exacts its bounty from those we pirate. And she says, if released, would I excite you the way that you excite me? Could we, suggesting, right? And he says, I wouldn't object, because nobody would. And then she gives him a hug, falls forward onto him. She says, then I'll rid you of the curse. But he is just kind of stoic in appearance, staring forward, dead eyes. He says, if only you could. Right? And of course, I've been showing this the whole time, but I like to lift the book up anyway, so we're going to do it. All right, so there we are. And then in the next page, it says, meanwhile, Captain, you led us in a circle. Why, so it seems. And you see the pirates returning to the beach where they already had their shovels and stuff out. And the poor captain pirate, he's like, damn it. He goes, ain't no jungle goddesses around here. I must have screwed up again, read the map wrong. Now I got to face that thing when it wakes. Pay another part of myself to keep it happy. I'm sick of it. I'm running out of pieces. Because right now, he's already got the stereotypical peg leg on his right. On his left, he's got the hook for a hand. And he's got an eye patch. He's missing an eye. And you thought it was just stereotypical, but you're starting to figure out that there's reasons these pieces are missing. Right? And it goes, where's Travis? Send Travis to me. And Travis is the blonde-haired pirate. I need me beautiful boy. And the other part's like, he's not here, Captain. Well, find him. Find him before. And then the sands burst up and a monster comes out. That thing wakes up. The captain's finishing his sentence. And the monster is out of the sand. It says, again, defy me again. I am the pirate's heart, your heart. I beat within you. You never learn. You can't be rid of me. And now you pay. Pay me. And the captain's like, go ahead, take me here. And one of the other pirates is running for it. It's like, Captain Bump. And it's Travis, the blonde-haired pirate, just getting back. It's like, no, don't. I found her. And he's trying to keep the captain from sacrificing himself and introduce him to Selimba. And Selima's like, Travis, wait. And the monster says, stupid meat, and swats him aside like a gnat. The guy goes flying. And that's when Selimba gets into action. She says, your mistake, monster. This jungle and all in it are mine. You included. And we just got a great action shot there. Some of you might call it a butt shot too, but Selimba's ready to spring into action against the beast. And so the next page, she says, I'll show you a game we play here. It's called Cat, and she stabs it in the top of the head with her knife. And you see her cutting off things, and you see she's got two giant cats that are with her. In other stories, they're panthers. In this one, they're drawn a bit different. but they're each running away with a leg of the creature that they tore off. They are her guardians. When she fights, they fight. And she goes, and mouse. And as she says that, she's cutting off more of him. And she says, you're the mouse. And the creature's just wailing. It's got like 4 less appendages. Its fingers are gone. The animals have torn apart. And she's standing there with dagger in hand. The thing is wailing. And the captain's saying, the heart. Tell her to stab the heart. So Travis says, you must kill the heart or it will reform into a yet more terrible shape. Remove it and stab it through. Release us. She goes, then you can feel. Then you might love me. He says, as long as I live. And she plunges the dagger into the beast and then her hands as she pulls out the beating heart. And she holds it into the sky and they say, release us, release us. And she stabs the heart through with her dagger. And you have Travis saying, I love you. So there we go. Some great pages there. A lot of awesome action. Saleemba showing her strength. And then, as soon as she does, she grips the hand of Travis and it starts turning, the flesh starts turning to dust and nothing but bones is being left. His whole flesh starts peeling away. He's like, the curse is finished. Your love freed us. Your heart was pure. Bless you. Bless you. And you see the spirits of all the pirates starting to float up and away. They've finally been released from this curse they've had for 150 years. And she's distraught. She's like, please, you can't go. And then the next panel is like, remember nothing but her name and that her heart broke this day. No other end was possible. And as she realized this, Saleemba suddenly felt her pirated heart fill up with Travis, his peace, his eternal joy. And between beats, that heart mended itself, sealing him there forever. And then we got a good parting shot of their ship, their ghost ship, at sea without them. And Saleemba there. And don't pay attention to this side. That's a story for next week. But thus, our story ends. And like I said, it's a fun story. Was it setting any records in storytelling? No. But you instantly are attracted to the Saleemba character. She's strong. She's inquisitive. And you feel like there's something missing from her that she's searching for. And you want to find out what. And we'll find that out in the next issue. It's setting up an arc for her. It hints at her being bored with the amount of time that she's been in this jungle, on this planet, living her life. So you get hints of her immortality in this story. But it's all just a setup. This is a story where there's like instant love, right? An old romantic ideal that used to be in a lot of stories. So instantly you see someone, you're in love with them. They're in love with you. The connection's instantly made. And yeah, it's fast and yeah, it's flighty, but somehow it just works, right? You got the whole opposites attract. 2 people from different worlds. Something new, something fresh. She's immediately smitten with it and then immediately thrown into their problems. This curse that these pirates are suffering that only she can free them from, and they didn't know that until they meet her. That is her that the old prophecies were talking about. But a fun setup, a fun introduction to Saleemba. Now, our second and third stories that we're going to get to are much darker in nature, and they have more meaning. So this was a fun, fast setup, and the next 2 get a bit more serious. But that's it for this week, guys. Thank you for joining me for Savage Saturday Comic Review, episode 105. And until next time, keep it casual. Attention all, use channel sponsor Rogue Trader at theroguetraderutah.com and my code KEEPITCASUAL for 10% off your comic cleaning and pressing needs. Remember, when submitting your books to be graded, use a trusted professional.